John Mayer is a highly accomplished musician and a highly accomplished womanizer. Being a highly accomplished womanizer is no longer something to brag about in this country, so John Mayer would like you to know that he is a changed man. In fact, there is no single greater friend, no greater foe of piggish male behavior than John Mayer. He's deeply sensitive, and he'd like you to know that.
I don't want it to be the male contract. I'm telling you that's the contract, and we have to tear the contract up. You do not possess the universal ability to have any woman that you see. And I'm just going on record as revealing the trauma of men feeling like they've fallen short of a alpha male contract that nobody can live up to. And until we get rid of that in men, we won't have the life that we all deserve.
So that was Mayer breaking into a one-man therapy session in the middle of a concert the other night. We thought it was kind of amusing and had sort of a cynical take on it because, you know, maybe it was a preemptive defense of his own behavior. Feminist Anousheh Hossain, though, said we just didn't get it. Most men don't. John Mayer is actually a feminist hero, she argued. Watch.
Toxic masculinity isn't about saying your body is a wonderland. It's actually about men being violent towards women. And that song was written for his girlfriend at the time.
Everyone is against men being violent toward women, but I wonder if the standard isn't different. If Brett Kavanaugh's calendar from 1982 had, you know, basketball with squee and then your body is a wonderland and your bubblegum tongue, I mean, you would have called for his arrest, right? Tammy Bruce is a radio show host, president of Independent Women's Voice. She joins us tonight. Tammy, great to see you. Just to be clear, I'm not making a case against John Mayer. Well, I think it's pretty good, actually. I'm making a case against this phrase that we're seeing everywhere, toxic masculinity, which doesn't seem like an actual thing. It seems like an attack on all men, not just the violent ones. And I'm against that because I think it's wrong.
Well, and it is wrong. But it's useful for the left. It's like climate change. It can be whatever they want at any moment.
So true.
There's no reality to it at all. It's whatever your mood is. And that's the purpose of calling it that. But at the same time, in and of itself, it does indict every man, right? It indicts the nature of maleness and manhood. Now, I love men. I think men are great. I love the masculine man who saved me once from another man who was trying to get into my car at a gas station. Maybe my life was saved in that moment. I love the men who are in the military, who are first responders, and the women who join them in that effort. You know, we sleep nicely at night because of masculine men every day. The bottom line is, though, that interview you had with her was fascinating because she also admitted that this standard of what is toxic masculinity, and why not just call it violence against women, but they don't because they want it to be the overall indictment, is she said it would only really apply, it only applies really to Kavanaugh because he was a nominee for the Supreme Court. And of course, the implication to that is that, well, he would have a larger impact on society. Look, Tucker, entertainment figures have a huge impact on culture, on children. Musicians and dancers and actors, they are having a huge impact, and they don't have any watchdogs looking at them with what they're doing and what decisions they're making. They don't do things that are completely transparent. We don't see them making their decisions like we do the Supreme Court.
No, it's totally right.
Yeah, and lastly, this argument that we should look at all men as the problem is what makes a Harvey Weinstein possible. It's what makes a Bill Cosby possible.
Well, that's right.
Is that we dilute the view. And we ask people to look at the innocent man like Kavanaugh, using him as a stand-in, while then the other men, and maybe this is what Mr. Mayer was doing, if they say the right things, it's like an invisibility cloak. They don't have to, they're not dealt with properly.
It's so true. We're almost out of time, but really quick, have you noticed this? That the threat is not from masculine men. The men I've met who mistreat women most consistently are the weakest men, the least masculine men.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
You know, that's a very good point. And this is where, when looking at each individual case, every woman has to deal with however we approach the issues in our lives with violence and the nature of the man who might be violent toward us. Yeah. But the argument is about separating women even from the men in their own lives, the men that love them. And that's the political agenda here.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with masculinity or strength.
You're totally
it's control issues, right?
No, exactly. It's dividing and conquering.
That's right.
Tammy Bruce, as always, so deep. Thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.